it's just it's crazy it's tough to go play another MMO. Like, it's the legitimate Ashes effect that's just taking place. And like, I'll tell you,
that's a great way to put it.
I'll tell you,
great way to put it.
I've been back to 20th anniversary edition of Warcraft Classic. I started playing that because that was like the earn it thing, right? And granted, probably it's old, but still it has that mentality to it. And so that's what I've been diving into.
I want to stop you right here. Like, I want you to clarify this because I think Cash and I both like perked our ears up when you said this. What is the Ashes effect? What is the Ashes effect?
I made it up, but what it is is, to me, like, it's how it affected me. I walked out of a weekend and I found myself looking at all the MMOs out there, and nothing could meet Ashes. Nothing could meet the feel. Like, I'm not talking features, okay? Look, like, every MMO is more feature rich right now than Ashes of Creation, but I'm talking about the style of it, the open world of it, the fact that you have to go and earn those things. Like, it's there already. And when it's like comparing Ashes to every other game, and when you leave the weekend and the servers go down, you're bummed out, and you look down the horizon of all the MMOs and you're just like, it's tough to go play anything else because there's only one thing that fits that mold, and it's Ashes.
Cash, what is the Ashes effect?
I think the Ashes effect is, and I was today years old when I learned that term, and I now love it. I think the Ashes effect is a lot of things. I think it is that callback to the old school MMO. I think it is, it's the fact that the game, again, is a skeleton that they're slowly adding meat to, yet we are completely addicted to it. I think it is the fact that because of that lack of content, because of the slow pace of the content coming into the game, but them still having an amazing framework where the combat is solid, the grinding is actually really fun. You have dopamine hits as soon as you see freaking green glowies on a dead mob, or a blue glowy on a dead mob. You know there's something there. It's those little spaced out hits of dopamine. It's the way that the crafting system is being built. It's the fact that you can take your commodities from one place to another and have fear and risk of losing it. It's walking out into the wild and not knowing whether or not EPH is going to freaking smoke you. That's a big part of it, right? But I think you take all of these little factors, some of which I mentioned, a whole bunch that I didn't. You take all of those and you put it all together. And the biggest part of that Ashes effect that is truly addicting me right now is the fact that we're in Discord, hanging out with our people, getting to know each other, rallying the troops when they're needed. And boy, do they come. We ran a caravan the other day, 14 wagons deep. 14 wagons deep.
14.
We put the call out to our folks for all hands on deck. Like, if you can be there, please be there. We had a full raid group in 10 minutes of Black Talon Trading Company, diehard people playing during the Thanksgiving break, making memories, building friendships that are going to last for a long time. So you take all of those factors and you put them together, it equals the addiction that the alpha test is creating for Ashes of Creation. That's what I think the Ashes effect is.
Well said. I agree wholeheartedly. And the part that kind of goes along with that, you talked about, like, the possibility of losing that loot. That's a new one for MMOs, like, from a grand scale. Okay, it's Ashes is bringing in survival game mechanics into an MMORPG, and it's affecting the player base. It's affecting the way they play. Should I carry this loot back? Because I could lose it. The idea or the mentality and the feeling of I could lose this in an MMO is normally found in survival games. Ark Survival Evolved, Rust, Minecraft, like any of the survival titles. And so that anxiety from that is now in the MMO space. And that is also a part of Ashes. Like what you were saying, Cash, like it hits different. it hits you different and it leaves you feeling different the following week when you can't play the darn thing because the servers are down.
Yeah, but the fear of how it's going to be when they're up all the time. I'm terrified. I'm a grown-ass man playing video games, and I'm terrified of the time sink.
I think, you know, like, go ahead, Sonny, go ahead. I want you to get your point in.
No, I mean, like on the time sink, you know, and everything like that. I mean, it is what it is. We're all worried about that kind of thing because we're reasonable adults that have jobs, stuff like that. I just want to take the Ashes effect, and then we can probably lead into the close, unless you have anything further you want to go on this. But to me, the Ashes effect is just, I like things that are simple and encapsulated. So to me, the Ashes effect is what happens when you introduce an old school MMO and all the concepts that made you fall in love with MMOs before they gradually chipped away at it over the course of 15 years of quality of life improvements. There was a time when they came out with this concept of MMORPG, and they had these great ideas, and they developed this thing, and everyone fell in love with it. And then since then, it has been eroded by game after game after game, and patch after patch after patch that chipped away at all of the things until it evolved into this sort of mutant that it is today. And then Ashes of Creation comes out, and it says, you know what? We really liked those ideas from back in the day. And we really liked certain things that certain games did in that time. And here they are. And here's the concept. And then you play it, and you're like, oh, right. This is the genre that I fell in love with. And to me, that's the Ashes effect.
Do you feel like Ashes is a love letter to ourselves as gamers from 20 years ago?
I love that expression. And that was the University of Coruscant for me. And that was like some of the projects that you've done. And that is one of my favorite expressions. And I think it is. Like, how could it not be? You have a guy designing it who says, you know what? I've done very well in my life in other ventures, and I have this hobby, and I want to bring this thing back. Even though financially, other companies are not doing this anymore. I've got a little bit of money to burn, and at the same time, I believe in this project. That's what a love letter is.
You got a lot of bit of money to burn.
You got a lot of bit of money to burn. All right. But he sold a hell of a Kickstarter. So that's what a love letter is, right? Mm-hmm. A love letter is, I believe in something because this is what I really, really enjoyed, and I want to bring it back, even if other people don't see the vision that I do.